The Pentagon says the U.S. did watch North Korea preparing Tuesday's test launch of an ICBM. Now, the rogue nation claims the ICBM can carry a large nuclear warhead. Some experts believe it has the range to possibly reach Alaska or Hawaii. Secretary of State Tillerson calling for global action to hold North Korea accountable for pursuing nuclear weapons. Joining me now, he is retired Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney. Good to see you, General.
Thank you for having me, Liz.
So how serious is this? I mean, since the Pentagon evidently saw the launch, could we in any way shoot these test missiles down? Can we shoot them down in advance?
Yes, we could, but that still doesn't solve the problem of them developing an ICBM with a nuclear warhead that can reach the United States. And once you shoot one down or two down, then you're going to have a problem with North Korea. We have to address that problem. We have to address it, Liz, with number one, diplomatic pressure. It should be starting right now in the UN today, and it ought to be beefed up on Friday when the president's in Germany and at the economic conference. And then with intense pressure there, we must have sanctions, economic sanctions that make anybody dealing with North Korea have a great deal of pain, and that means China, because China is supporting North Korea.
Yeah, 75% of the imports and exports from between that North Korea does is with China. So would you support sanctions on individuals and individual companies in China and in Iran? I mean, that's what we did in getting Iran to the negotiating table. Go after individuals. Absolutely.
Sanction anybody that has an impact so that they know we mean business. And then we have to get into the military options and discuss them so they really know we mean business.
Okay, so those sanctions there, and then there's also the display of military power in the region by the U.S. to show not just North Korea but China, we're serious. Now, the U.S. and South Korean forces fire precision missiles into South Korean waters as a show of solidarity, but Kim Jong-un is urging scientists to send more, quote, gift packages to the Yankees. Is the dear leader underestimating the power of the U.S. here?
Yes, he is. And to counter that, I would start marshaling ships out in the Western Pacific, initially around Okinawa, then the Sea of Japan, then the Yellow Sea. So in about a year from now, we have over 100+ U.S. Navy ships, 5 carrier battle groups out there. We have our whole B-2 bomber force. We have over 200 stealth fighters, F-22s, F-35s, and our latest aircraft. We then have all these capabilities both in Japan and Guam and South Korea. We improve the THAAD capability. President Moon must stop holding it out for an environmental consideration, and we reinforce the THAAD. And those ships that the Navy has will be DDGs with SM-3 missiles that shoot down those North Korean missiles. And we let them know that we mean business. If these things do not come to fruition, we also, at the same time, have a nuclear option, and we put theater nuclear forces back in South Korea, initially U.S. Air Force aircraft with U.S. Air Force pilots, and then, like we have in Europe, we make them South Korean pilots with U.S. weapons, and we hold the keys of control. We start talking to Japan about them going nuclear and changing their constitution and a prohibition of warfare.
Okay.
All these things must be done.
Some have argued, some other people who are experts on North Korea say, wait a second, North Korea is not serious about actually using a missile to hit a U.S. city, that this is sort of along the lines of its, quote, hostage diplomacy. It takes hostages and then bargains because it needs more rice or it needs more products in to take care of its people who are clearly suffering. What are your thoughts there? I know that they've got a half a dozen South Koreans, for example, and still a number of U.S. citizens as hostages. Do you think North Korea really seriously wants to make an offensive move and hit a U.S. city?
They may not now, but after they've coerced us and we've collapsed on every issue, then they're going to try even more things. And if he has a pit of anger, he may do that. We cannot afford to take that chance. No American president can. And that's why we've got to be serious. And I'd wrap this all up so China understands with creating the Pacific Area Treaty Organization, just like NATO. We start off with South Korea, with Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, and then build other countries in there, Philippines, and start showing China that we're going to organize in the Pacific, not only for what they're arming and aiding and abetting North Korea, but the islands that they put out in the South China Sea. Enough is enough, Liz.